I heard this story once, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. I felt like it was talking to me, or maybe talking to someone I miss, someone who knows that, someone who knows what it means to wait in silence, like ghost notes in an empty room, still waiting to be heard. And the more I sat with it, the more it started to glow. Not loud, not bright, just quiet warmth, the kind that been sitting in the corner for centuries, waiting for someone to sit beside it. And tonight, I want to sit beside it. And maybe you will too. This is a story about energy, but not the kind that startles you awake. No, this one is older and slower and warmer, of course. It's about how people in England once thought a place called the Broads was a miracle of nature, until a woman named Josie Lamper stood up and said, "No, this wasn't a miracle. It was memory. It was people. It was work. And everything changed." So, grab your blanket, hold your cup, press play, and let's drift. You're listening to the Mellowverse by The Outsider. And this is Energy. Welcome to the Mellowverse, a quiet world inside the bigger one, a place where stories float softer, where thoughts slow down, and where even silence feels like it's saying something. I'm still the outsider, but this season, maybe I'm also something else, something lighter. Maybe you too. Come in, find a seat, let's listen together. If you ever find yourself lucky enough to land in London and then take the train east to Norwich City, you would have the perfect chance to visit one of Britain's most beautiful national parks, the Broads. An enormous, living, breathing web of rivers and lakes stretching almost 200 kilometers. You can boat through it, and you can swim through it if you are brave. I know this is not me trying to sell you a tourism package, no. Honestly, most of people don't even go to London for nature. They go to work, to chase the quid and to hustle. But if you ever drifted off the beaten path, you might wonder, what's all the fuss about? Well, the Broads to the English people was a gift, just like Egypt is the gift of the Nile. They believed the Broads were a miracle, formed by time, by rain, by the slow kind hand of nature. And in 1952, the Royal Geographical Society even published a book about it, and it called The Origins of the Broads. And in that book, they said, these lakes, these waterways, they are natural. They've always been here. And the people were proud, But a woman named Joyce Lamber thought differently. Joyce was a botanist, a quiet, stubborn sort of woman, and she said, no, these Broads weren't nature's gift. They were man's made. And people when like people understandably were outraged. What? What do you mean? They said. Our ancestors could barely sweep the floor. How could they have dug lakes? Is that what you're saying? Well, Joyce didn't argue. She did something better. She went and she came back. She put out evidence. And if you ever got curious, go search photos of the Prague's edges online. You'll see it. The land doesn't slope down like a normal lake. It's sudden. It's a sharp vertical drop, 3 meters deep. And natural lakes, they don't do that. They're gradual. They change. They slope. But not here. Here the lakes hold steady, 3 meters deep, all around here. Well, man-made. Joyce and her team spent years gathering proof. Supported by Cambridge, they worked, they studied, and until finally, the Royal Geographical Society had no choice but to admit it. 8 years after their first book, they published a new one entitled The Making of the Pragues. Well, the very title admits it, innit? The Pragues were not born, they were made. Imagine that. This whole beautiful network of waterways wasn't nature smiling down. No, it was people. It was digging. It was work. Hundreds of years ago, from the 12th to the 14th century, men and women dug with hands, with crude tools. They dug deep into the earth until the land was a patchwork of cabin wounds. And when the floods came, the water slipped into those wounds, filled them up, and the Pragues were born. But why? Why would anyone dig like that for centuries? They weren't building lakes for beauty. They were looking for something called peat. Peat. It's decayed plant pressed together in swamps. In the Middle Ages, peat was gold. Not for its looks, not for trade, but for heat. You dug it up, dried it, and burned it to survive winter. No cars, no factories, no steam engines, no James Watt, just cold, desperate hands reaching into the earth for fuel. Fire meant survival. And suddenly, the Pragues aren't just lakes. They are graves. Graves of energy, graves of effort, graves of lives who dug in silence, hoping for warmth they could hold. When you think about it, it's funny what we call resource. Because sometimes we think it's a miracle, a gift from the skies or the earth. But sometimes it's just memory, It's work, it's people, it's need. It's a shovel digging into the cold ground because you are just trying to stay warm. That's what happened in Norwich. The people weren't creating a masterpiece. They weren't predicting the floods. They were just digging for peat. It's strange, innit, how energy isn't just some big modern thing. It's been hunting us forever. Okay, so let's imagine a primitive man living 1,000 of years ago. At some point, this man understood the role of the sun. This yellow disk in the sky provides us with light and warmth and gives beautiful tan. However, once the night comes, this disk disappears. This way, we don't have any light and can't see anything. It's easy for any predator to sneak up on us, Also, we lost the warmth, even Even if we hide in the cave and wear our jackets, we will face a damp freezing weather of -70 or something. Then our only hope will be to wait for this yellow disk to rise again to light the sky and warm us up. And it seems that one of the primitive tribes was sitting around hopeless and in the night, freezing, waiting for the notification of the rooster saying, "The sun is rising." A, a smarter one appeared among this tribe and said, "Do you guys remember fire?" Yeah, the fire which we knew about more than a million years ago. Maybe it was just a shallow relation and we knew about it under weird condition because lightning would strike the forest and set it on fire. And it was that moment, the moment someone said, "Maybe we can bring the sun back," that changed everything. You see, fire wasn't just a flame. It was memory. It was a memory of the sun. It was hope you could hold in your hands. But fire's tricky. It needs to be fed, like us. It doesn't like fresh leaves, too wet. It doesn't like stones, too cold. It doesn't like dust. It chokes and dies. No, fire has a taste. It loves wood. It loves dry. It loves hard branches. It loves anything that reminds it of the sun's touch, just like us. So humans learned, slowly, clumsily, and beautifully, what fire liked to eat. They gave it sticks and a pen brighter. They gave it mud and they made pottery. They gave it meat and they discovered barbecue. Maybe even community. Through fire, we started understanding something bigger. That energy isn't just about survival. It's about memory. It's about turning what once was light, life, warmth into something you can keep alive, even when everything goes dark. So at first, we just used what was around us. Dry branches, old wood, the things the forests offered freely. But later on, people got creative. They discovered firewood and they discovered animal dung. Yup, cow patties. Fancy, I know. They were dried and stacked like treasure. And also charcoal came next, which would slowly burn without oxygen until it turned into something darker, something stronger and hotter. There is also olive oil and sesame oil. They lit up ancient homes long before electricity ever dared to exist. Tiny flickers of sunlight trapped inside seeds. And then peat, hidden beneath the wetlands. Plants that lived, died, sank and waited, basically pressed into the fuel by time itself. And the digging didn't stop. For centuries, they kept pulling peat out of the earth, trying it, stacking it, burning it, until the holes they left behind were so deep, so wide, that when the floods came, the prods were born. Giant lakes sculpted not by nature but by need, by cold hands and quiet hope. And maybe if you listen closely, the prods still hum without memory. Not miracles, just humans leaving behind a map of where they once tried to stay alive. We don't often think about energy like that. We think about sockets, about gasoline, buzzing wires. But no, energy, real energy, has always been personal, And of course, the story of fuel had an end with peat. Humans, being who we are, we kept going, kept trying to find the next best thing to feed the fire. And then came coal, charcoal, and then kerosene, and then petroleum, black gold they call it, millions of years old, formed from creatures who once used the sun's light themselves, alga, plankton, microscopic life floating in shallow seas. They soaked up sunlight, died, sank, and waited, layer upon layer, pressed under time and heat until they became kerogen, until kerogen became oil, until oil became everything. Have you ever think about that? That when you start a car, you are burning the ghosts of tiny sunlit creatures. That you're riding on bottled sunlight from the dinosaurs' days. It's strange and kind of magical and very human. Because that's what we've always done, you know? Find light, store it, carry it, even when it's heavy, even when it's very deep. So the secret to fire isn't just fuel. It's a balance. It's a triangle. You know, oxygen, heat, and fuel. Take one away and the whole thing collapses into smoke and ash. And honestly, I feel like that's how a lot of things in life work too, right? You need the right mix, the right breath, the right spark. Fire taught us that balance, you know, taught us patience, taught us how to feed something carefully so it doesn't die or destroy everything. And it taught us something else too, that not everything burns. If you try feeding fire stones or copper, it will just sit there stubbornly refusing, because copper isn't made to burn, you know? Its atoms are fast too tightly, too stubbornly, born inside a supernova where stars tore themselves apart just to build it. But if you gave fire wood, well, wood is simple and kind. It's sunlight bottled up through photosynthesis. It's sugar and water and air spun into something strong enough to build houses, but soft enough to break apart when need warmth. It's almost poetic if you think about it. Wood carries yesterday's sunshine, tucked carefully inside, waiting for someone, someday, to set it free. Photosynthesis and fire, they are like mirrors, you know, flipped. Photosynthesis stores the sunlight, fire releases it again. One gathers and the other gives back. And somehow, in what's in between, there is us. A little flame with a name. Tiny creatures holding matches, trying to find warmth in the middle of a dark universe. It gets even crazier though, because it's not just wood, it's not just peat or coal or even petroleum. Okay, so before discovering fuel, humans' only relation with energy was through food. If you're cold, eat some potatoes. If you're so cold, eat more potatoes. If you're about to run from a lion and need to sprint, eat even more potatoes. Before using fire, energy came from food. Humans' mental and physical effort was translated into calories and could take from food. But after discovering fire, they started using sun energy to their interests, so they can get more heat benefits from themselves. Instead of telling you to eat more potatoes when you're cold, it will tell you to light a fire to warm up. If you're still cold, put more fuel and make the fire burn more and keep going. If you're being chased by a lion and want to run for 10, 12 kilometers something, use the old stored sun energy and take motorcycle or car or something. It's not a must for you to eat carbohydrates so you can run from a lion. This is what humans have done ever since they learned to use fire. We are the only creatures on the planet who managed to use the sun energy storage. No animal thought of making fire to warm up, When they get cold, the most they can do is hibernate like bears or gather together like penguins. And you might think that before using fire, the sun was useless to humans, as their energy came from eating like animals, and this way, supposedly, they didn't need the sun. But you can never run away from the sun by just walking, no. This means that you are using sun energy, which is also an old sun energy stored in the form of fuel. Yes, you. You are made of fuel too. You're burning, right now. Not literally on fire, thank God, but biologically. And what happens with you is a biological burning, or it's called cell respiration. And this has an easy equation. Simply glucose plus oxygen makes carbon dioxide, water and energy. Just like fire, just like photosynthesis, in reverse. Because remember, photosynthesis makes the fuel, fire releases it, plants store the sun, we set it free. Ooh, it's similar to the burning equation that takes place with fuel. Well, it's not similar, it's the exact same. You got glucose from food and oxygen from the lungs, and on the other side of the equation contains the energy you burned, which you will use to do all of your activities and assignments. Alongside this, water vapor and carbon dioxide are released with exhaling. Just like how we produce smoke when burned, you produce smoke as well when you burn glucose. The glucose in your blood is a source of energy. It's a continuous source of energy. That's why when you are hungry, your sugar level decreases. You burn glucose just like how a car burns benzene. The potatoes you eat, the apples, the bread, they're just newer puddles of the same old sun. So you and the car work with solar energy. The difference is that you use fresh sun energy. The potatoes you eat are a couple months old. Even if it's been frozen for a year, it's okay. However, the sun energy in cars is at least millions of years old. It's expired, but runs the planet. So when you light a candle, you're setting a fire to a memory. When you turn on a car, you're waking up a million-year-old sunbeam. When you breathe, you're keeping a tiny ancient promise alive. The promise that light can be carried even if it feels like the night will never end. Energy isn't just wires and fire, It's legacy, it's memory. It's all the ways we've learned to carry heat when the world gets cold. And when we say that the sun is our favorite star, though I have my own, we're not complimenting the sun or hating on the other stars, no. The sun is the source of energy on this planet. The fossil fuel that's the source of any energy was made by the sun. And before fire, humans could only access the sun's energy through food, just like other animals. But discovering fire changed everything. It gave humans the unique ability to tap into ancient sunlight stored in fuel. While early humans relied on eating plants for energy, like consuming potatoes to run 10 kilometers or something, Today we can use million-year-old concentrated sunlight and plane fuel to fly thousands of kilometers. However, we've barely scratched the surface of Earth's energy's potential. We still haven't reached the full usage capacity of the energy source on Earth, even the part of sun energy that reached the Earth. We still haven't used all of it. And so there is this Russian physicist called Nikolai Kardashev once built a scale to measure how advanced a civilization is based on how much energy it can harness. And well, right now, we are not even at level 1. It's actually 0.73 on the Kardashev scale, meaning we still have much time to be able to control the Earth's energy. We're trying to become a planetary civilization, as he classified us, trying to use all the energy Earth gives us, like solar energy, wind energy, water and heat energy. But here's where it gets wild. Kardashev dreamed up this cool idea about a star civilization. Think about it. We might one day, or maybe someone out there already has, figured out how to use an entire star's energy. Like, imagine building this mega structure called a Dyson sphere that wraps around the star to catch all its energy. Pretty mind blown, right? But wait, it gets even better. Kardashev thought there could be a civilization that could power up using entire galaxies. Basically like reaching the ultimate level in a cosmic video game. They would be like, oh, you need some star power. We have got millions to spare. It's totally like these sci-fi movies, you know, like Star Wars, Empire, or those super advanced warforged in Star Trek. Of course, right now with basically just energy usage, rokies, but who knows? We might get there someday. Some scientists even added more levels to Kardashev's scale. Like, imagine discovering multiple universes and finding civilizations that could bend the laws of physics, like they are playing with silly putty. We would start thinking about these laws and try to find a way to change them. And then it would be like a GTA cheat code, even though all of this is still a hypothesis and science fiction. But why not dream? But let's not forget that what opened its door of imagination was fuel. Fuel changed and grew our capabilities to be infinite. It made us dream of controlling the universe and its stars, even though we're still taking the first steps with the energy of single star. It's the source of all type of energy we know of today, which light up this room and charge this device you're listening to me from, and all of this come from the sun. Don't think of energy as something mechanical, some gasoline engine or a factory burning coal somewhere far away. No, really, energy is more tender than that. It's the last ember in the fire when everyone else has fallen asleep. It's the letter you wrote but never sent. It's the ghost notes in the song you couldn't finish. It's the warmth we leave behind when we think no one's watching. Energy isn't just science. It's memory, it's longing, it's every quiet attempt to bring the sun back into the dark. To believe that even in the coldest night, there is still something left that burns for us. So maybe that's it. Maybe all this talk about peat and fire and photosynthesis, maybe It's just another way of saying we are made of light. We were made to carry it, even when we don't realize we are. And I keep thinking about those people digging, not knowing what they were really making, just trying to stay warm. And how, even now, we're doing that, digging, burning, dreaming, trying to understand what keeps us alive, trying to find warmth we can hold on to. Still striking matches, still learning how to keep the fire going without burning down the house, trying to become the warmth we wish someone else could find. Still trying, still writing songs we are too shy to sing, and still glowing. And maybe that's what energy really is. Maybe energy is longing. Maybe it's memory. The broads weren't lakes. They were stories. And this podcast, maybe it's just my way of lighting a little candle and placing it by the window. For someone, anyone, who still believes warmth is worth finding. I'm Aktham, and this was the Mellowverse by The Outsider. Thanks for listening. Really. Stay warm, stay human, and if you're out there, I hear you. Till next one.